Hey, this is Jerry Visca, the founding publisher of Defyeneurs and your Why Guy, and welcome to the 2018 New Year launch issue called Getting Real. And I tell you, I'm excited because we are live with Sarah OHalloran from Calgary, although today she's in Saskatchewan. Welcome, Sarah.
Hi, good morning.
Sarah, I'm so excited about this deeper why, especially in a world where we're all searching for this one elusive treasure called happiness. And your why, I exist to inspire true happiness. You know, it brings me to tears because in this disconnected world, Sarah OHalloran's deeper why emerges, almost like to help us solve this global issue. So share with us, why do you exist? Tell me the deeper reason around this.
Yeah, thanks, Jerry. And it's funny that you say, you know, it's such a big deal in our world right now, but for me, this really starts with me in my heart. And I had to find my own happiness and be okay with allowing happiness to come into my life. When I was in university, I was diagnosed with post-traumatic stress disorder. And as a result of that, have lived many years with anxiety and with a really broken self-confidence, we'll call it that. And because of that, I really struggled. I've struggled in the past to allow myself to feel happiness in moments where I should have felt pride or I should have felt joy. I was either feeling anxious about that moment and looking to the next step right away, which didn't allow me to appreciate that moment, or I was feeling like I didn't deserve to be there. I didn't deserve that happiness, and that guilt and shame that can sometimes attach themselves to really precious moments of joy. That's really unfortunate. And so for me, it started as a very personal development journey to let go of that shame, let go of that guilt, which means you have to be vulnerable. You have to let people see you in your true self. And for me, that was really difficult. That was really difficult to do. And I credit a lot of Brene Brown's work. I'm a big fan of Brene Brown. That's really allowed me to grow to this place where I started to recognize that was the deficit. That was the area that needed to be worked on. And then meeting you, Jerry, in August of last year was a really great moment, and Angela as well. I was the recipient of a door prize at the Women Who Influence luncheon, which was a personalized guided meditation from Angela. And I don't think I realized even at that moment how badly I needed that to be able to start to look inside for the answers instead of looking outside for the answers of how I was going to get past this.
I love it. I love it. Sarah, I love your light. There's no other way to describe light to be in your presence. And I love what you just shared, that it's about deserving, and it all starts with you. It starts with acceptance. And you know, the fact that you allowed happiness to flow into your life. And you know, I often say we're the architects of our own lives, and I just love how you state that. There's a quote you share in your profile, and I love it. It goes like this: surrendering to happiness, to me, means loving myself without judgment. You've been through some interesting challenges during your journey, and I think, in the greatest state of reinvention. The next chapter of Sarah OHalloran is going to be mind-blowing. So how are you getting real with your why?
I think the biggest part is allowing myself to feel, not being afraid to go on this journey, and not being afraid of making mistakes as I do so, and getting real for me, and that's, I really connected with this topic and this edition of the magazine, because we have to be real if we're going to continue any kind of personal development journey. And so for me, that means owning my story. I had some tough times several years ago, and the shame that attached to that got in the way of allowing me to really form true relationships with people and to really show up as my whole true self. And that was getting in the way of feeling the happiness that I now know I deserve. But at the time I didn't really know that I deserved that.
Yeah.
And so being able to show up every day as my whole me, not just the good part of me that I want to show people, that makes such a huge difference in terms of the quality of relationships and the quality of moments that we can take advantage of. And I'm now a mom of 2 young boys, and man, it makes me feel emotional because I don't want to miss any moment of this time with my 3-year-old and 5-year-old, right?
Yeah.
And any time of any of these beautiful moments that I'm so grateful to get to be a part of now. So in order for me to do that, in order for me to truly surrender to that happiness, I have to show up as me, and I have to tell my story when it's appropriate to do so. And I have to speak about mental health, because it's a real thing. And it's not as easy to talk about as our physical health. And so that means encountering people and letting them know that, this is anxiety. This is what I'm feeling today. And I'm okay with that.
I love this conversation. Okay, I'm taking like so many notes right now, not just for this interview, but for the education of this. So listeners, great leaders take lots of great notes, and we think we've got it all figured out, but this is what it's about. But I like what you just said, allowing myself to feel. And I find, especially for males, and we don't allow ourselves to feel, and heaven forbid we allow vulnerability to start to flow through our cerebellum. But I like how you said owning my own story, and all that work on yourself allowed you to start to connect and develop these true relationships. So it's funny, you wrote, there's this one line that I've highlighted in your profile. It says, I love who I am becoming.
Yeah.
And that touches me, because as one who exists to inspire 1 million whys, this why is a state of being. And, we get very defined by who we are right now, but it's about focusing on where we're going, who we're becoming. So you're certainly impacting me in a great way, and all those around us. How is living your why impacting others around you?
It's amazing when you start to tell your own story and your own truth, how many people connect with you through that. It's really surprised me how many people have said, I also have a similar journey, or I have a story, and maybe their story is very different from mine, but them getting to hear from me and hear me be real with them inspires them to be real with themselves, with owning whatever their story is. And it's actually blown my mind to see how many people I've come in contact with on this journey who have said, wow, I have something that I need to own as well. And I have something that I'm hiding from the people who are closest to me as well. And if I need to show up as my true self as well. And being able to speak so openly about that has been incredible. But I've said it, I've referenced my children already. That's the hugest win for me. Yeah. I need to be able to show these 2 little boys that their mama's a real person, and we're gonna be a great family as a result of that, because they're gonna get to see real life. They're not gonna get to see a woman who puts on makeup and puts on a front and walks out the door and doesn't show anyone her true self, right? So that makes me feel really proud.
I love how you honor us with referencing your 2 boys, and I'm going to ask you a question around them in a little bit that might spark some emotion. So just be ready for it.
I'm always ready for it.
But that's what I love about this getting real issue. It's about getting real, and it's about imperfection. And I love how it always comes back to connections with you, and people connect with you when you're being real. And I just think that's fantastic. There's another quote you share, and it goes like this: if we don't slow down and allow ourselves time to feel, even the good emotions will get missed. So things had to shift in your life, and I like to think that things have shifted by bringing this deeper why, this reason for being, existing to inspire true happiness to the surface. So what has shifted in your life since then?
I think the biggest shift, and you said it in that quote, one of the things was certainly to slow down. I think we just live in such a high-paced world all the time. And I've already listened to one of the interviews you did earlier this week with Chris, and the value of time.
Value of time, yeah, the gift of time.
Yeah, and that just sat so well with me. I really agree with what she was saying about just take advantage of these precious moments that we have when we have them. But really the biggest shift for me, Jerry, has been losing the focus on the how and instead focusing on the why. I had a tendency in the past to get really stuck on how is it going to happen, and everything has to be perfectly lined up, and I can't take that step forward until I'm 10 out of 10 confident that I know exactly what step's going to come next. And it's really hard to move forward that way. And so in allowing myself to focus on my why and focusing on just being happy with where I'm at. If today we're at a 6 out of 10, I'm good with that, because 6 out of 10 is better than 5 out of 10. And I'm going to just allow myself to enjoy the moment where I'm at, and let go of the how, let go of what the next step has to be. And when you can do that, it's incredible how many things appear around you that you maybe would have missed otherwise, because you were so focused on what tomorrow is going to look like. And so I think that's been the biggest shift for me, Jerry, is just letting go, sometimes jumping into the darkness, taking a step that I have no idea where it's going to take me. And that's okay, because some really cool things have shown up since I've allowed myself to just leap, just be.
I love it. I love what you just said. It reminds me of a book I wrote a couple years ago called I Don't Know What the Hell I'm Doing. And you reference this energy, because we get very defined by only stepping if we know how. And I often say that it's not about knowing how. Life isn't about knowing how. It's about knowing why. And if you look back at your life, even we weren't taught how to be parents. Like you become it. And this why, I always say the why ignites the way. And that's why I say that next chapter for Sarah OHalloran is explosive. Okay, my last question for you is, I really enjoy, you attended my Why Write in New York, this intensive for writers, and your energy lit the room. And I find with any time I do intensives like this, there's always one or two people that really sparkle and really shine. And it's interesting because I was writing together with you, and I always offer that opportunity to write together in this exchange of energy. You were the only one that sat next to me and we were writing together. So I see nothing but greatness in your future. What I like to know is, years from now, your two boys, what will they say about their mom? How did she live her life? And what did it impact them? How did it impact them?
Whew. Well, that's a loaded question. You know what? I hope that they, it's funny. I had a call with them yesterday. I'm traveling for work this week. So I had a call with them yesterday, and they were watching American Ninja Warriors or some show like that. And my 5-year-old said, "Mom, one of the girls is doing this and she's a mom." He said, "Could you do this kind of obstacle course thing?" And I said, "Well, honey, do you think that I could do it?" And he said, yes, Mom, I think you're strong enough. You go to the gym, you could do this.
Yeah.
And I said, "Well, maybe I might need some more practice, hey?" And he said, "Yeah, a couple more times at the gym and then you'll be strong enough." And so I really do hope that they continue to have that wild spirit that allows them to see me as strong, and someone who puts practice into her goals, someone who things don't always just come easy and naturally, but that doesn't mean that we stop. And I hope that that's something that I can instill deeply in them. The value of practice, the value of determination, and setting wild, crazy goals, like American Ninja Warrior, that's a wild, crazy goal. But if that's a goal that you want to set, cool, let's do it. Let's put the practice and the effort into that, and really live our lives from our heart, and take advantage of all of these great moments. I hope that when they look back on life, they think about that one New Year's Eve where we built a fort in the living room and we had a dance party in the fort. I hope those are the moments that they really take away from their childhood.
I love it. Let's swim in new oceans of belief. Sarah OHalloran, a ninja warrior. But
I'm not committing to that goal here today. That's not what I'm doing.
I'm starting to think I should call you a warrior of happiness. A warrior of happiness. It's what we call this profile, a sense of happiness. It's on page 28 and 29. And I got to tell you, Sarah, on behalf of Defyeneurs and just globally, people everywhere, everyday people doing extraordinary things, thank you for stepping into your deeper why, because the world is truly helped by you. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Jerry, and for giving me this opportunity. I'm beyond honored. Thank you.
Thank you.